Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Edina. I'm Sam Thompson. I'm proud to be your 66th president. We're coming to you live from the Edina Country Club and also on Zoom. We have 36 people that have pre-registered live and 30 people on Zoom. I want to give a special welcome to our guests today. We're very excited that you have joined us. And for those of you that are new to Rotary, we're a global network of 1.2 million leaders and problem solvers. We unite to take action, to create lasting change across the world. And we strive to make our communities a better place to live. We meet at the Edina Country Club every Thursday at 12:15. And with the changes yesterday now, we're going to take a little break live. So the next couple of meetings will be 100% Zoom. And we're the largest club in our district. We have 166 members. And we have many ways that our members participate within our club. New this year is our Race and Equity Committee, led by Slyvester Thomas. And our goals are to increase the number of people of color as our members and to work with nonprofits that serve people of color, to encourage them to apply for our foundation grants. And our Race and Equity Committee, along with our Community Service Projects Committee led by Lisa Walker, will work with other clubs within the district to assist the Lake Street Business Council. And what we want to do is we want to help them, help these businesses get their feet back on the ground from the aftermath of the George Floyd killing and the riots that followed. So our members plan to mentor a business and to direct business to them and really to find volunteers to be boots on the ground, to really help them out. And with the increase in COVID, we've had a little bit of a delay, but we're optimistic that within the next 2 months, we're going to know what business we're going to be matched with to work with them. Our club also has a leadership series, and we started this last year. It's all virtual, and our members actually are the presenters. And we have various members within our clubs that are experts in various areas. Some of the sessions we've had have been communication, team building, and goal setting, which goal setting was actually last Tuesday and was very well received. We always have this the third Tuesday of every month, and it goes from 6 to 7. So besides improving our members' career skills, we also work with our local communities. We supported 13 nonprofits this past year, providing over $38,000 in local grants. And we also have a very strong international program. This last May, we took 27 Rotarians to Guatemala and provided life-saving purification units. And we plan to return to Guatemala this spring if COVID will allow us. But the plan right now is to do it. And other international projects that we supported this last year: Chile, Peru, South Africa, South Sudan, and Liberia. We have an extremely active youth program. Camp Enterprise, which runs every fall, and we've been doing this for 40 years, is a business camp for 11th and 12th graders. And we normally get about 120 students that participate in this. Due to COVID, we did have to cancel, but the good news is it gave us time to create a program called Camp Enterprise Junior. And it's a feeder program. It's for 8th to 10th graders. And I can tell you we do have confirmation that we're moving ahead with that. We actually have the dates. It's June 21st through the 24th. And we're working with the Edina Community Ed, so we're really excited about this program. And part of our youth program is our Edina Rotary Scholars Program that we work together with Edina High School. It's an academic study program that combines Rotary service. And it's a specialized degree for these students, so it'll really help them moving into the future. It's going to elevate these students. And we had hoped, when we put this together last year under Josh Sprague, we had hoped that we'd have 20 students sign up this year, and we have well over 30. So even in a pandemic, we're extremely excited about how this program's working. We have so many programs and opportunities for our members to get involved, and we're excited that our guests have joined us today, and we hope that you will return. Now, we have a member update. I'm sad to announce fellow Rotarian Dr. Lloyd Pearson passed away last weekend. He had celebrated his 57 years as a Rotarian on November 10th. He's survived by his wife June and son Brad, who's also a member. So please keep the Pearsons, Joe?
Leslie and Cindy also.
And Leslie and Cindy also, besides Brad, with the family. Thanks, Joe. So please keep all of the Pearsons in your thoughts and prayers. Another update. Hannelore Brucker's daughter, Monica Young, and I know Hannelore is here today. I did see her. There she is in the back. Her daughter, Monica Young, recently wrote a feature article for the Sky and Telescope magazine. It's about NASA's Parker Solo probe and how it was built and the first results. So this sounds like it's a pretty big deal, and congratulations, Hannelore. That's quite an accomplishment. You must be proud. I'm sure you are. And Rotary in the news. I'm happy to tell you that Maddie Sladek, who is at the bottom of this Zoom shot here, Maddie Sladek was awarded the Global Scholarship. And it comes from our district, but our club is the sponsor. And it's a scholarship for $30,000 to Denmark. And it'll help her with her master's program. And I've got to tell you, these scholarships are very rare. I don't know when we've had one last or when the district's had one last. So this is a great accomplishment for our club to be able to sponsor Maddie, and I know she's very excited. Now, just looking at the birthdays, we have quite a few birthdays. We're looking 2 weeks out because of Thanksgiving, because we're not meeting next week. So happy birthday to everybody listed here. And anniversaries. We have 4 anniversaries. Looks like Dennis Hikes is the winner with 41 years. So way to go, Dennis. And assisting off podium, our greeter is Scott Blake. Our Zoom grader is Andre Brewer. Thank you, Andre. Front desk is always Becky. Photographer is Rick Carlson. And AV support, Ryan Wilson. And as mentioned, our next 2 meetings, which are December 3rd and December 10th, will be all Zoom. We will not be, so don't be coming to this room. We won't be here. And one last announcement, when you're done eating, please put your mask back on for the safety of not only you, but your other Rotarians. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call up Shelly Loberg to provide our invocation, pledge, and the four-way test.
Good afternoon, everyone, both here in person and on Zoom. In light of all of our recent challenges, I wanted to share some short reflections on the subject of unity. First, unity does not mean sameness. It means oneness of purpose. Second, we can achieve greater unity if we foster an atmosphere of inclusion and respect for diversity. And third, when we work together in love and unity, we can most certainly expect heaven's help. In Rotary, when we come here, we're united in the desire to serve and make the world a better place. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And of the things that we think, say, and do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Fred Slyvester and I have the honor of introducing our guests who are visiting us today on Prospective Member Day. I'd like to start off with, if when I call your name, please stand up. You're a guest of Bridget and Kay Clapp. Please stand. You are an attorney with, actually I don't know who you're with, I'm sorry.
Twin Cities Legal Service. I'm sorry if I didn't say.
No, that's terrific. Well, we appreciate you being here and thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. Next we have guests of Shelly Loberg. And please stand, Jean and Katie Pulaski, and they are owners. They live in Edina here, and they're owners of X-Torch. And they actually bought a product, if you would just show that up there, Shelly.
Yeah, so Katie and Jean are local residents of Edina. I saw them on Care 11 recently in a segment and was super inspired about what their company does, and I'd love for you to hear just in 5 seconds, Jean, if you can tell what X-Torch does.
Sure. We make this little solar-powered flashlight that's used in developing countries and for disaster relief, particularly for kids who don't have light to read when they don't have any power available to them. So we sell domestically, and then we donate internationally. And so far, over the last 5 years, we've donated 100% of our profits. So this is it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Next, a guest of Woosh, Lena Kim. Please stand up. And she is an administrator at Century College over in White Bear Lake. Thank you.
Lena is a good friend of mine.
Yep.
She works for Academic Affairs Vice President's Office at Century College.
Wonderful, Lena. Thank you for joining us. All right. And then our last guest is a guest of Eli, and this is Trey Shepard, and he is a CPA auditor. Thank you for joining us today, Trey. Appreciate it. And that's our guest. And on Zoom, welcome. I'm not sure who's on Zoom, but thank you for joining us as well.
Fred, I've got one. Yes,
Oh,
sorry.
my bad. That's right.
Okay. No. Let me just introduce Kyle Langdahl. Kyle is a real estate appraiser. He's a new friend and a young person who's really interested in giving back and serving and representing his company.
All right. Thank you. Welcome.
Hello to Rotarians and guests here and also on Zoom. Last week, Henrietta, the Thanksgiving turkey, reminded us that Thanksgiving basket delivery today is right around the corner. So on Wednesday, November 25th, we will still prepare and deliver some 85 meals in these COVID times to families in need throughout the Twin Cities neighborhoods. Now, while COVID has changed nearly everything about how we're doing things, we're doing them. And I want to thank you guys for keeping this service project rolling with the changes. But I ask you to remember this year that if you have not signed up to assemble and deliver baskets or register with me as a Wednesday volunteer, then please stay home and stay safe and help us lower the risk of sharing any COVID instead of Thanksgiving cheer. Now, Becky tells me that we can still accommodate 3 to 5 delivery teams or households, so please do check with her at the end of this meeting today if you'd like to participate in that. And I'm still looking for up to 2 volunteers to help from around noon to 2:30 with our assembly program, so if you're interested and able, let me know. Thanks to all of you who may have donated canned goods to be a part of our Thanksgiving meals. We can still use plenty of canned corn, green beans, peas, yams, and fruit cocktail. And if you were not able to bring any of the canned goods to the Country Club today, you're still welcome to donate those by bringing them to me at my home at 5612 Heather Lane. Stick them outside and say hi. There is an email in your box waiting to give you that address. Please bring them by my house by Monday evening at 8 o'clock, and we'll take it from there. So thanks for all of you making a happy Thanksgiving, a lot happier for many families out there, and for all of us sharing in this time. And thanks to our partners in the Edina Morningside Rotary Club who take part in this event as well. COVID has not changed our resolve to share food and to offer our gratitude at this Thanksgiving season, so thank you. And if you guys have any questions, just be in touch with Becky or me and we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Looking good.
Oh, 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 oh. Merry Christmas. Oh, 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 oh.
Ho, ho, ho. I hope you recognize this sound by now. I'm just here to plant a little seed as you're out shopping. We're going to be supporting 2 organizations this year for our holiday giving program, Cornerstone and 66 West. 66 West has requested gift cards. So when you're at the store and you see all the gift cards at the checkout, pull out Target, pull out Walmart, Cub. That would be great for those 39 youth. And then we have families at Cornerstone. And so they would like items for families that they could do when they're hunkered down during this quarantine. games, toys, and also mittens and hats and things for kids, and PJs for women. So just planting a little seed. Les and I will be here talking about this more in the next couple weeks.
Okay, our next, we actually have two speakers today. Kat's probably used to having a warm-up band. You're going to have a warm-up speaker. So the next person is Angelina Amerigo, and she's a young woman who is the current Miss Heart of the Lakes with the Miss America organization. She has a brief and very compelling, heartfelt message about reducing and even eliminating plastic waste from our oceans, rivers, and lakes. It's a message consistent with the areas of emphasis recently added to the Rotary clubs around the world. Please welcome Angelina.
I don't have all the bells and whistles like Jean did. I'm kind of jealous of her Christmas spirit. But I will do my best to get you guys just as excited. My name is Angelina Amerigo, and let me tell you, thank you for being in person today, because since March, this is my second in-person presentation, so it means everything to be in front of you guys today. I will be giving you a very quick 5-minute rundown on my social impact initiative, and hopefully come spring, I can come back and do a full presentation when hopefully COVID is more under control. So we will continue to say our prayers for that. But we can click to that first slide.
Well, you got the clicker.
I do. Thank you. Never mind. So, by the year of 2050, there could be more plastic in our ocean than fish. When I read this very statement 2 summers ago, it changed my perspective on the widespread situation we were living. And with a small raise of hands, and maybe some of you already have switched to reusables, but how many of you drink water or pop out of a plastic bottle a day? Don't be ashamed. Sometimes it happens to me too. Perfect. We'll get there. We'll fix it. But more than 60 million plastic bottles are thrown away each year, adding up to almost 22 billion a year. 2 summers ago, not last summer, it's hunkered down, but 2 summers ago, I traveled all across the southern state of Florida, and every single beach I went to, there were piles of plastic bottles, soda cans, silverware, along all the coastlines. So today I'll just be talking about how that plastic affects marine life, how the plastic is accumulating, and then how we as a community can begin to help. So here is a small representation of what we call jeers, which are whirlpools of water trapping huge collections of trash in currents. There are currently 5 ocean garbage patches in existence, with the Great Pacific Garbage Patch being the largest. If you look at the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, it's about the size of Texas doubled, spreading a total of 1.6 million kilometers. These garbage patches align with the amount of animals in endangerment. Focusing closer to home on rivers, according to NPR, it shows that almost 9 million tons of plastic in our oceans, and a large amount of that is coming strictly from inland sources. My sad part, I don't like this photo, it makes me sad. But how is plastic affecting marine life? By consuming plastic waste, it causes their digestive systems to be blocked, hurting the entirety of their digestive system, which can sadly lead to a very slow and painful death, which is not what we want at all. Sorry, some of you are eating, I should have asked, but I always say I'll switch to the slide after we're done eating, but this is a photo that always strikes a chord with me. It is a photo of a turtle that a fisherman found on the Pacific Coast cleanup. And a turtle had a plastic straw lodged in its nose. And it's something that I think just kind of puts the whole problem into perspective, which leads me to my favorite part, is how we can make a difference. So I'm very excited because Rotary International has added environment as a 7th area of focus. And it's incredible to think that it is such a widespread problem, but by doing your own human impact, we can make a difference. So every time you go to the grocery store, some simple examples like bringing your own tote bag, using a reusable bottle, switching over from plastic utensils to reusable utensils. Just those daily changes can make an impact. And my social impact initiative, which I didn't say this at the beginning, is titled One Bottle, One Straw, One Bag at a Time. And I think that also puts it into perspective that so many people think of it as, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to solve this world problem of all these ocean patches, or garbage ocean patches in the Pacific and Atlantic and all the oceans, but our impact can and will make a difference, one bottle, one straw, one bag at a time. So later today, when you have a chance on your way out, I am selling some reusable bottles and bags and some ocean-themed jewelry, so if any of you have some holiday shopping to do, so proceeds will go towards an ocean cleanup project. So your donations would be greatly appreciated, and thank you for the time of speaking today. Hold on, I just actually forgot something. Pause. I was going to put into perspective, sorry, I skipped this part. This is one of my favorite parts that I usually like to do when we're in person, but I like to put the numbers of water bottle usage in perspective for Edina alone. So population in Edina is 52,400 people, and if one person drank a bottle for 365 days a year, that would add up to almost 19 million bottles. If one person drank one bottle of plastic water a year. So I kind of skipped forward to that. Now I will say thank you very much, and I will pass over the mic to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Angelina. Great message. Now we're ready for our main speaker, and I'd like to introduce Paul Peterson, who will be introducing our speaker today. St. Paul Peterson is the youngest member of the Peterson family, known as the first family of music in Minnesota. Prince discovered Paul, also known as St. Paul, at the age of 17. He enlisted him as a keyboard player in the time for the movie Purple Rain. Paul took the lead vocalist spot in the Prince-produced group The Family before becoming a solo artist and scoring hits for MCA and Atlantic Records. He has recorded or toured with artists from Steve Miller to Peter Frampton, from Kenny Loggins to Donny Osmond. In 2019, Paul and his family were inducted into the Minnesota Hall of Fame. Paul owns Peterson Music and Events and specializes in virtual events, including his new virtual holiday experience, which we will be enjoying on December 17th. He also works for Venue Screen, a company that helps manage the risks associated with global pandemic. Please welcome Paul.
How's everybody doing? Let me hear you. I can't hear you out there in Zoom land. Nice to see you, boy. Are you in for a treat today? I'm so honored that my friend has come to speak for us today. This is a dynamo son of a gun, singing son of a gun, I'll tell you that. She grew up in Scranton, I almost said New Jersey, didn't I? Sorry about that. North Dakota. And she was surrounded by a musical family, not unlike mine. She moved to Minneapolis and quickly took the music scene by storm. With her band Scarlet Haze, she got to open for people like Bon Jovi. Pretty cool. After a brief pause in her music career, she came back in 2014, auditioning and almost winning NBC's The Voice. She and I met at St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church about 100 years ago, and she was kind enough to actually hire me to play a gig with her, and I've got to do the same for her. She's done some great charity work for my company, Peterson Music and Events. Again, this person is a powerhouse, an incredibly passionate, internationally recognized motivational speaker, and one of her biggest hits, a song called Fearless, is actually the theme of her speech. Please give a warm Edina Rotary welcome to Kat Perkins.
That made me nervous. Oh, I'm so glad I wore my heels today because you would not see me over this. I'm only 4'11", but thank you so much for that. I am Kat Perkins. I was most recognized in the Twin Cities for being on NBC's The Voice just a few years back. And I am a singer-songwriter, have done that my entire life. Most recently got into a lot of philanthropy work in the past 6 years. And I can if I can brag for a second, I have now collectively helped raise over $5 million in the Twin Cities for different organizations. Crazy. And tomorrow night, we're about to increase that again by $250,000 for the TS Alliance, which I'm very, very passionate about. We're going to do it virtually, and they've already met their goal, so that's a pretty cool thing. I also own my own nonprofit organization called the Rising Star Foundation. I started this in 2017. We're very new. And what I do is I raise money for scholarships for kids and adults who want to pursue their career farther in the music industry. And that is a very broad statement of music industry. We provide scholarships for kids that want to go to college, regular four-year college, technical colleges. We raise money for kids to go to music camp in the summertime. I run my own music camp, two sessions a summer normally. We didn't do it this year because of COVID. But we are excited to start that again whenever we can. And then we also provide scholarships in a crazy way. We just expanded another little elbow of my nonprofit as well. But we provide scholarships for kids that want to take a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, like auditioning for The Voice. We just last year sent a girl from St. Michael, Albertville to Italy to audition for an opera, 19 years old. We provided her housing and her flights to Italy, and she got an opportunity of a lifetime. So we continue to raise money and keep that in the forefront of our minds on my team, and we hope we can resume our operations way more and often next summer. So that's kind of about my nonprofit, and I want to kind of start at the beginning of my life today, because I've been involved in music my entire life. I grew up in Scranton, North Dakota. Does anybody know where that is? Yeah, if you did, we would be related. Oh, are we related? Population 280 when I was there. I just visited last summer, and they're down to about 190, which is a very tiny town, but I didn't really know anything differently, and I'm very grateful for that. I had a very musical family. My dad was the music teacher in Scranton, North Dakota for 37 years. He just retired. My mother was the church organist, and when I say church organist, I mean the big pipe organ, if you ever see those anymore. It was always amazing to watch her every single Sunday. My sister is a singer and music teacher. Also, back that up, my great-grandmother, I'm writing a book right now, so I just did a huge deep dive into my family. My great-grandmother was a music educator. My grandmother was a music educator. My father, my sister, and then there's me, who just wanted to be a singer my entire life. So I remember my first experience as a singer being in front of a crowd, and I was 5 years old. It looked a little something like that. Oh, that hair. I think my dad and I had the same mullet haircut. That really ages me, of course. That was in the 1980s. And my choice of song, you might appreciate this, was Eternal Flame by the Bangles. And after I got done singing that song, I was absolutely hooked. So that's all I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to do it again and again and again and again. And that's exactly what I did from that point on, with, of course, the help of my amazing family and my amazing community, tiny little community that always lifted me up with every single talent show, every single street dance, every opportunity that I could possibly take. So when I was 18, I did something very bold. I passed by the college that I was enrolled in, and I kept going 600 miles east to the big city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I packed my 94 Ford Escort full of my things, and I called my parents from Fargo, North Dakota, telling them that I had aborted my plans to go to college, and I was on my way to Minnesota. You can imagine the feelings that my family had about that. But in the end, of course, they always had my back, and they knew that I really needed a place where I had more opportunity to be a performer, to be a singer, to just chase that dream that they always fostered in me since that age. So when I arrived here, it was a fast track to whatever I could get my hands on. I started doing musical theater for a couple of different years, like 3 different years in the Twin Cities. I did finally enroll myself back into college and got my degree while I was performing professionally. But in 2005, we just had this anniversary, 11/11/2005, I had just started my first rock band called Scarlet Haze, and we were less than a year old, and we decided to do something crazy and enroll ourselves in a battle of the bands. And if you won that battle of the bands, then you got to open up for a sold-out Bon Jovi concert. Downtown Minneapolis, 20,000 people at the Target Center. And of course, when I brought this news to the boys, they were like, "Are you nuts? We don't have fans. We're not going to get people to vote for us. This is going to be crazy." And in 2005, if you remember, social media wasn't quite as rampant as it is now. So we found ourselves on the street corners passing out flyers for people to come and watch us at this battle of the bands at the Fine Line Music Cafe and vote for us. And our grassroots efforts paid off, because that night we got the most votes and we got the opportunity of a lifetime to open up for a sold-out Bon Jovi concert. And we got the attention of the media in Minneapolis, and my life completely changed. Kind of like this moment, because then that's all I wanted to do was that. And I quickly had to make a ton of entrepreneurial decisions. I got approached by a ton of agents and managers and you name it. And I just really followed my gut at that point, being very young and in a very big city that I had just basically moved to after living here only a couple of years. And I got myself the record deal of a lifetime from that opportunity. And we were on the road in our first year of the record deal. Our single had just come out to radio, and I started to feel ill. I was losing my voice constantly. I couldn't get through shows. I couldn't do interviews. And being a singer my entire life, I was very used to, when I got a cold or when I got sick, losing my voice and having to push through it and doing crazy things to just get through a show. But this felt different. And unfortunately, after about a week of canceling shows and trying to push through, I finally went to the doctor and was diagnosed with a cyst on my left vocal cord, the size of my pinky nail, which was an absolute devastating diagnosis, obviously, for a singer. And I had no option but to have emergency surgery just a few days later, and my life came to a crashing end. Enter this girl. From Edina, Minnesota, Miss Emma. Emma was 5 years old in this picture, but just a couple years before that, they were seeking a nanny. And I was out of work. I had lost my record deal, I lost my agents, my managers, lost my band. They had to move on with their lives, obviously. And I had made a list of my other favorite things besides music, and on the top of that list was education and young kids. Emma's family was in need of a nanny. There was 5 kids in this family. I didn't know what I was doing with 1 child, let alone 5. But I faked my way through that interview, and I knew that this family was very special. We really honestly bonded within the first 5 minutes, and I was pretty much hired on the spot. And so I spent the next 5.5 years right here in Edina coming to this country club with these kids, and they completely changed my perspective. These kids changed my approach, and of course, then changed my life. I was a couple years into nannying when Emma was begging me, "Can you please stay late and watch TV with me? Can you please stay late and watch TV with me on a Monday?" And I said, "Sure, of course I will." So the family came home, we sat in the living room, I said, "Emma, what are we gonna watch together?" And she said, "I want you to watch this show called The Voice." And I said, "What is that?" I had never heard of it. She said to me, "Kat, you're gonna love this show because I know you were a singer in your past life. So you'll absolutely enjoy it. And there's a guy from Minneapolis on the show." So we tuned in. Of course, Nicholas David, if you remember that season, it was season 3 of The Voice, and we were addicted. I stayed late every Monday and Tuesday to cheer for Nicholas David, to vote, to join Twitter. I mean, we did the whole thing. And I was addicted, and it was so much fun to bring the family together in the living room and do something together, because I was rarely with all of them at once. So you can imagine my surprise. A few months after that experience, everyone was in school. She was now in kindergarten, and I opened up my computer, and I had an email that came through my YouTube channel, And it was the producers of The Voice, and they had stumbled upon a viral video from my past life. And I was singing in an airport. I did an impromptu performance at the Amsterdam airport around a piano, and that video had went viral. I didn't even know about it. I was not the one that posted it, obviously. I was singing, and it had so many views that it caught the attention of people that were curating contestants for NBC's The Voice. I actually thought it was a joke. I didn't respond, and I found myself frozen in fear at this possible opportunity if it was a real thing. And I shut the computer. And I remember standing there thinking, that part of my life is over. I'm not jumping back into that. I haven't even been singing for the past few years, really. And I was really honestly just getting my life back together and finding my purpose as a nanny and finding my new purpose every day was whatever that was. So the kids came home from school that day and I couldn't keep my big mouth shut, which was a great thing. And I told him what had happened, and this little girl looked up at me, and she, with those big brown eyes, and she said, with the most sass of a 5-year-old, said, Kat, why wouldn't you? And when I tell you that, I get goosebumps, because what a great question. And I knew right in that moment that that question was going to change my life. And 3 months later, I was on Team Adam Levine. Do you know who he is? Adam. You're welcome. I actually was lucky. I had my choice. I got a 3-chair turn on season 6, and it was Usher, Shakira, Adam, and Blake as the coaches. And I got the chairs turned of Shakira, Adam, and Usher. And I chose Adam that day. And I'll tell you what, it changed my life forever in so many ways. I went on to compete on that season and got 4th place. Adam Levine was very integral in not only taking me to the end of that show, but he was also very integral in changing the way that I lived my life on a daily basis. And that translated 100% to finding my new life after reality television. This word up here, fearless, it is the most important word in my life to this date. And honestly, after what I just told you, I felt like I had lived a pretty fearless life up to that point and done a lot of things and really pivoted when it came down to a traumatic experience, losing my moneymaker and my everything and my passion. But honestly, this experience, and with the help of Adam, I completely redefined this word in my life. So today, I want to tell you what I do now as a motivational speaker. I want to tell you how I now define that word in my life and how I move forward every single day to find that success, to find the joy, and to find everything meaningful for me, literally on a daily basis. I call it the 3 C's of living fearlessly. The 3 C's of living fearlessly every single day. And that is courage, conquer, and commend. Let's jump right into courage. My God, I had no idea I would be standing here today. By the way, this is my first live gig since March. I've only done a few online as well, and my life has been completely impacted by COVID, as you can imagine. And this word has been a very, very important word, and just being brave, literally on a daily basis, probably almost sometimes to the hour of every single day. And I put that to simply be brave because that's what it is. To find that courage is to really simply be brave. I'm going to show you, not to be self-indulgent, but I'm going to show you my blind audition from The Voice because honestly, this is a very great visual representation of me just being the bravest that I possibly could have been in the moment. That feeling is very familiar a lot to performers, but that moment, that was 90 seconds, by the way, completely changed my life. When I watch it back, I sweat from my very elbows just thinking about what happened in that moment. And if I could describe to you what happened 5 seconds before that, I would be a millionaire because I cannot describe to you what I was feeling and how I was going to do this. I mean, it was somewhere in between wanting to pass out or throw up or just run away. All of those things happened. And every single week I kept feeling that sort of same thing, which is very kin to how I feel now during a pandemic and trying to make ends meet and trying to find work, right? So I go back to this being brave every single day. Every week on The Voice, I would go to Adam and I would say, how do I overcome this fear? I want to be the best I can do. I want to represent Minneapolis the best that I possibly can. And I'm having a very hard time sort of jumping over that line. And he asked me this question. He said, well, what do you think fear really is, though? And I was like, what I'm experiencing right now every single week on this show, I'm pretty sure that's fear. And he said, why don't you look it up in the dictionary? And he told me about this book that he read, and so I looked up the definition of fear, which says an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that something or someone is dangerous or going to cause a threat to your very body or life, right? A lot of us are feeling real fear with the pandemic, and a lot of us are feeling fear on a daily basis now, and that's great, and that's fine. I found myself in crazy situations, unfortunately, where I have felt real fear. And then when I told Adam, I looked it up, he said, so does that really match what you're feeling on a daily basis on this show? And I said, no, I don't feel threatened. I don't feel like my life is in danger. He said, great, now remember that, because what you're experiencing is not fear. And fear is actually something that we need in our lives. When I have found myself in an actual fearful situation, I was able to react and have that fight or flight instinct and used the God-given gift of fear and reaction in my life to save my own life, right? So, in essence, it's a good thing. Let's keep it here. So what are we talking about when it comes to being brave? What are we talking about when it comes to pushing through dangerous things in our lives, like COVID? And what are we talking about when we don't take the risks that make sense in our lives, or when we feel scared? Well, we're talking about something completely different. And yes, it's like fear's evil cousin, it is doubt. But I'll tell you what, the great thing about doubt is that we are in 100% control of that feeling in our lives. And we have the opportunity to push through doubt, where we don't have the opportunity to push through fear, and we shouldn't. That should be the reaction. So I love talking about this word and what Adam said to me about this in the end, which I love passing on to adults and kids alike, is that sometimes everything we ever want is on the other side of doubt. So step over that line, see what's on the other side. I can tell you, standing in person with you today, that there's a ton of joy and a ton of success and a ton of things I never, ever thought I would ever experience or do in my life. And it makes me very happy to take that step over the line of doubt. Sometimes it feels like a wall. Sometimes I'm the Kool-Aid man busting through that line of doubt. But everyone in this room deserves to know what's on the other side of that. So be brave. Have that courage to push through doubt and see what's on the other side. All right, number 2, conquer. Or I put dream it, do it. I'm so very committed to this motto of dream it, do it, that it's my 39th tattoo on my body. I took my mom with me. She was 60. That was her first tattoo. Now she has 4. What did I do? Dream it, do it. Conquer. If you can dream it, you can do it. That's what my parents fostered in me from the age of 5 years old. And then my lovely teachers in my tiny little town also fostered that same idea. But as we get older, we know that failure is a real thing. And how do we push through that? Well, if we're already being brave, we've got that part nailed. And then we come to this motto and we go, we've been dreaming since we were little kids. That's the easy part. Now you focus on that do part. And I love starting my process of doing with what would you do if you weren't afraid? Because if you answer that question in your minds, you're answering it with the things you want the most, you're answering it with the things that make you smile, you're answering it with all these things that you've probably thought about for years. So then put your life in motion. If you see an opportunity, then take it, right? I needed to take my own advice when it came to The Voice. But in my business, a lot, there's not cut and dry opportunities, so we have to remember the second part when it comes to conquering. If you don't see that opportunity that's black and white in front of you, don't be afraid to make it. Make your own opportunities. Expand that and share that advice with other people when they feel stuck. Go make your own opportunities, because you know what? Those are actually the ones that are most fulfilling in our lives when we're conquering our dreams and living fearlessly in that motion. Dream, believe, take action. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. I used to do that as a kid, and somehow I lost sight of that very thing of just put a date to something that you want, and then put that goal in front of you. The goal broken down into steps becomes the plan, and then you back that plan by action. And I'm telling you, your life will change. And I love telling this next part to kids, but sometimes as adults, we really need to remember to just simply write things down. And there's awesome science, if you guys ever get deep on Google, there's awesome science behind writing your goals down with an actual pen and piece of paper instead of just typing it in your computer or your phone or your iPad. Actually take that piece of paper out. I'm up to like 6 journals in the past 3 years, by the way, of just writing things that I want down. And there's actual science behind this too, studies. But only 3 out of 100 adults actually do this, by the way. But Forbes magazine says it all right here. If you actually write those goals down on a piece of paper, you are 50% more likely to achieve that goal. I don't know about you, but that's enough for me to actually keep that in my everyday living fearlessly plan. The third C, commend. I come from the Midwest. I talk to a lot of Midwestern people. I'm very focused in the upper Midwest, and I find so many great and nice people just like I'm with today. And I feel like in my own company, I'm very great at commending other people and telling them great job and lifting those people up. But in this fearless equation, it is so important for you to just let yourself be proud and not feel like it's braggadocious or narcissistic. You need to take this moment on a daily basis to really focus on the things that go right. And don't focus on the things that are lacking. And make a mental list of all those things that went your way. Acknowledge the mistakes, move on, commend yourself, and let yourself be proud and enjoy that success. I got 4th place on The Voice, as I told you. When I got home, there was a lot of people that met me with, oh my gosh, we voted for you. We sat in our living room as a family together, and it warmed my heart. And usually they would follow that up with, you should have won. And I would never know what to say. But honestly, it's not about the trophy. It's not about first place. You have to redefine what winning is in your life in order to commend yourself for those things that go right. And when you do that, you start rolling the 3 C's right back over because you let yourself be proud, you get back to being more brave. When you're more brave, you set more goals and you start conquering that. And then you can commend yourself for those things. And it's a lovely, beautiful infinity circle that will keep your life going in a fearless manner. One more picture of Adam. One more. Wait, just one more. I'm Kat Perkins. Thanks for letting me speak to you today. Please go to katperkins.com. You guys are the best.
I have the pleasure of thanking you today.
Awesome.
So, from literacy and peace to water and health, Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million problem solvers who unite to take action and create lasting change to better our world. In honor of your presentation today, we will make a donation to Every Meal, which is formerly known as the Sheraton Story. It's an organization focused on providing weekend and other food gap programs to over 10,000 children in the Twin Cities. So, thank you.
Thank you.
For being
That's
here today.
lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot. I've actually worked with the Sheridan Story in the past few years, so that means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, that was really good. Thanks so much. Looking ahead, we talked about the Thanksgiving baskets, and we also, on December 17th, the Peterson Family Trio. And Paul does have a message, so I'd like to share that with you.
Hey, my Rotary brothers and sisters, don't forget to mark your schedule. December 17th, we're going to have a virtual holiday party. Make sure you sign up, and the Petersons are going to give you a little entertainment. Aren't we, you guys?
Yes, we
All
are.
right, we'll see you then.
And may all your Christmases be wise.
Well done, Paul. Thank you. Okay, our next meeting will be December 3rd, and it's John Elder. He'll be talking about the state of law enforcement, and remember, that'll be on Zoom for everybody. And I want to thank all of you for attending live and on Zoom. Thanks, Angelina. Thank you, Kat. It was a great meeting. Reminder, Angelina does have some things back at the table that the donations actually go to Gillette Children's Hospital. And I'd like to leave you with a quote. To escape fear, you have to go through it, not around it. Richie Norton. Meeting adjourned.